Here we go. Trigger warning, spoiler alert. Did this just show up in your podcast queue? You are experiencing a holiday edition, a New Year edition of the Tom Kelly Show. Who wants to podcast today, people? I know you do. I know I told my regular listeners in the Facebook group, in the Tom Kelly Show secret fan group on Facebook, come find it, come join it. I know I told you guys that I wasn't going to do a podcast this week, and I'm going to honestly not put much effort into today's show. Selling point right there. But then what happened this week was I've done a lot of driving between New York and Manhattan, or I'm sorry, between my parents' house on Long Island and my apartment here in Manhattan. And I'm looking at my podcast app, and not too many podcasts were coming up. I think, one, there aren't many podcast listeners out there on the week between Christmas and New Year's. Two, the podcast creators are all taking a well-deserved break. And for me, I had a great conversation with my friend Dan Stanton, who actually turned out he was doing some work this week. And I said, hey, maybe there are people who need new content this week, who would like a connection with a human being this week. And maybe there are old listeners who don't always listen to the show because I get bumped down by the more famous podcasts. Thank you, NPR and murder podcasts. Anyway, whatever your other competition is, maybe you don't want to hear about some unsolved murder this week, and hanging out with Tom Kelly will be cool for you. So if you've I don't think there's any new listeners, but if you're new and coming back, I do a new show every Monday and Wednesday. I'm sticking to that commitment with bonuses throughout the week. And, there's new stuff on Instagram and TikTok when I feel like it. But this podcast, and I have trouble with it, with this thing, is what's the one sentence? Tom Kelly's owning the midlife crisis and talking to people who make life better. That's the one sentence. But the reality is, if you're listening to this show at this point, you're a friend of Tom's, and I'm having fun. I'm meeting people who I want to learn from, and I'm talking about things I want to talk about. I've learned that having opinions and doing single topic shows rate better on YouTube. I do very well when people die, and I pontificate about their lives, but and I did very well. Actually, the artificially intelligence generated episode of the show from last week's actually doing okay on YouTube. I actually would love for you guys to listen to. If you're looking for a podcast that'll help you with your New Year's resolutions, as I put on the reading glasses, go listen to episode 260. Tim Perrell, Jump. Dare to do what scares you in business and life. If you're setting goals for where you want to be in January of 2024, that podcast is the one that you guys should listen to before you start 2023. But enough promoting other shows and other episodes. If you're here today, I figure you're looking for a connection, and I figured I'd tell you where I'm at this week. I don't have that much time to podcast because my friend Elizabeth from high school and her husband Seth are coming into New York City, and they're going to come to my apartment. I think I'm going to walk them down to where their family is catching the Radio City Rockettes perform. But I thought I'd just share one or two funny Christmas stories that amuse me. I'll start with the funniest one, and I'll give you the quick background. You guys know I have a lot of nieces and nephews. It's hard to explain if you get into the genetics. My brother Sal has my two blood nephews, TJ and Joey. Love them so much. And then my friend Chris Delenick has three kids. They call me uncle. My friend in Maine, those kids call me uncle, but they don't get Christmas presents. So put them on the side. And then I have 12 nieces and nephews through my three cousins, my cousin Amy, my cousin Jennifer, and my cousin Kelly. And the first 5 kids to call me uncle came from my cousin Amy. And Amy is a ceremonial cousin who, when she had her first child at the age of 18, made me the ceremonial uncle and godfather to her second child, who came along while I was in college. And I'm going to keep it happy because my cousin Amy, when she passed away in June, she made this big deal of, I want a happy funeral. I want a happy this. I don't want anybody weeping for me. And honestly, I think that is in some ways really screwed up my grieving process. And I actually started to miss her very much this Christmas. And Amy was not a cousin, but was my cousin. And Amy was not my sister, but was my sister. And she had kids young. And at a certain point, it's the oldest one, Christian's 30. But this had to happen a few years in. But what would happen would be I would spend Christmas Eve at my mother's relatives' houses or, and whatever, and we'd have a nice time. And then when that was over, Amy would always invite me to her house on Christmas Eve, but her party was running concurrently with my mother's side of the family's parties. So I would always show up at Amy's house right when the party was over, or probably an hour after the party was over, with gifts for her children. And especially the first few years, it kind of annoyed her. And I enjoyed that it annoyed her, in a brotherly way. And I would always bring toys that were loud and obnoxious and that would annoy parents that wanted to get their kids to bed so they can finish wrapping the presents and whatnot. And I would say that gesture of brotherly nuisanceness, just making up words that don't exist, but that gesture of being annoying became the foundation of a tradition of me visiting her and her kids with the first gifts they would get for many, many years. And, the first gifts of the season. I guess in the realm of brotherly chop busting, or, I was thinking of this just, sometimes I punish people for loving me. And I think I did that to my cousin Amy sometimes, where, and not just my cousin Amy, other people who love me. I don't think I gave any of my friends who got married in their 20s a wedding gift without a gun put to my head. Actually, my friend Liz, who's coming over, I got her a wedding gift when I was in San Francisco. It was a painting of the Golden Gate Bridge if a horrible earthquake were to hit it. I found it on a street in San Francisco and had it shipped to her house after her wedding. Who the hell does that? And I did this once to my cousin Amy. She was she was a young mom. And I think she was having basically a small Christmas party at her house, invited me, and decided she was going to do a secret Santa game. And it was a small party. It was Amy. It was her two sisters. And then let's make it 3 PTA mom friends who might have been a couple of years older than her, because Amy was a younger mom. And Amy decided she was going to have a secret Santa thing where they do the Yankee swap secret Santa, put it in the bag. No gifts over $20. So I did not get a gift. I was not going to get a gift for this. I just was not in the mood that day. I don't need to do a secret Santa game. I just need alcohol. Something silly like that was going through my 20-something-year-old brain. So I got to Amy's house. Now, I must have been doing holiday shopping because I had wrapping paper out in the car. Amy had her Christmas decorations out, and one of which was an aluminum foil painting that she did in the 6th grade. And that's the way to describe it. It was very pretty for a 6th grader. And for my cousin Amy, who accomplished so many things in life. She graduated high school in 3 years. She raised 5 great children. She was married to a great man at a young age and worked hard to get those kids off the ground. She has a master's degree. And I would argue she was almost as proud of this painting as she was of her 5 children. And it went up every Christmas. Okay. She was very affectionate about it. And I looked at that painting and I said, how funny would it be if I gave that in the Secret Santa and somebody opened up this painting in the Secret Santa, and then Amy would go, "Oh, that's my painting." And wah, wah, everybody laughs, whatever. So I take the painting, may have put it in my jacket, snuck it out to the car, wrapped it up, and put it into the box of Secret Santa games. Now, there's one woman there who I don't think I ever saw before and ever saw after. We will call her typical PTA mom. And typical PTA mom, she was really excited about the Secret Santa because she was that person who, I know there was a $20 limit, but I spent $50 because I'm that person. I'm the mom who's a little bit better than the other mom's mom. You know, she was just, I didn't like her, but she did. She was kind of hinting at, she was kind of hinting at that she had gotten a $50 thing for the Secret Santa. Okay. Secret Santa starts happening. Gift number 1 opens. Gift number 2 opens. I think I got the $50 gift, right? I'm excited. Okay. And then suddenly, this woman opens up the gift. And again, this mom was so proud of overspending the Secret Santa limit. She opens up the gift, and what is it, my friends? It is the piece of art my cousin Amy made in the 6th grade. And PTA mom yells out, "What the hell is this piece of crap?" My cousin Amy was very proud of this piece of art and has very strong opinions at times. She gets indignant. Honestly, it was like PTA mom insulted her 6th child that didn't exist. You know, like it was like, wow. Amy goes, "That is not a piece of crap. That is a piece of art that I created." And then this woman goes, "Well, I spent $50. What am I doing with this?" Now, my cousin-in-law, Carlos, is there. He starts laughing his ass off. My ex-cousin-in-law, Nick, is there. He's laughing his ass off. I am loving this. And my cousin Jennifer and my cousin Kelly, who are good at fixing things and probably dealing with my mischief at times, they both look and they see me laughing, and they take my gift, whatever my gift was, and gave it to her and just kind of put the fire out while this woman is now insulting my cousin Amy's art. And I mean, it was just that moment of, "That is not a piece of crap. I made that in the 6th grade. That is beautiful." And this woman's like, "It's a piece of garbage." And everybody's like, "What the hell happened? How the hell did this piece of art wind up in the Secret Santa thing?" And anyway, I am unnecessarily proud of that moment. Anyway, I guess that's the happy. I hope that was a happy story. You know, it's funny. You talk about comedy podcasts, and I hope you guys who are listening to the show again for the first time in a while, maybe you're coming back to this. How do I say this? You know, I don't know if I'm always a comedian podcast. I try to be smart. I try to be funny. And sometimes it's more humor than comedy, if that makes sense. Like maybe I am. I think it's like old Will Rogers doing a fireside chat kind of radio. But it's a story I wanted to get out. It's a story I wanted to share with you guys. And, you know, and again, every Monday and Wednesday, there's something exciting happening on this podcast feed for audio needs. I'm generally trying to do this as a video podcast, a vodcast, and I have some great requests for funny comedians to interview in the coming months. So, and I don't have a grand vision with the podcast all the time. I try to keep it a little loosey-goosey so you can keep up with me in real time and I could talk current events. That's it, people. You know, if you're here, thank you for being here. And I'm going to go catch up with my friend. My phone's starting to buzz. Until next time, good night, North Pole.